You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good game, Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, it's AFTERBUZZ TV's Californication After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Californication After Show.
Welcome, everybody. Bing is for doing. We're here doing another Californication Season 6, Episode 6 episode called In the Clouds. You guys want some pizza, cocaine, and apple juice?
Or some ashes, you know.
Maybe some ashes.
A trinket.
I don't know if that was the official menu, but yes. Anyway, I thought really good episode. And by the way, I am your host, Phil Svitek, joined alongside Krisily Kennedy, joined alongside Stephen Lemieux, and this week and henceforth, Roxy Striar, a.k.a. the Trudy of our show.
Trudy, bitches. Oh, no, that's awful. I could try.
No, don't try.
Kick me off the show. I'm done.
Don't try. People will hate you for it, unfortunately. But hey, let's talk about Becca real fast. You know, we got a little bit of snippet of it in tonight, and obviously they're kind of building that, so that's why I want to talk about it. It was the most uncomfortable we've ever seen Hank, obviously.
Well, of course.
But, I mean, should she be seeking advice like this from her father? Like, who does she go to with this?
I would rather her be seeking advice from Hank than somebody else. Like, I mean, who else is she going to go to?
Her mom? No.
Her mom's not going to give her a good take on it, though, because her mom knows the negative sides of writing. Hank knows the firsthand experience of, like, what it can do to you, and she's diving in Hank style, so he can at least warn her of some of the things.
Sometimes I think that it's so unrealistic, though, because, you know, we've got her. She says, do you want to know how many boys I've slept with? I'm going through an extremely slutty phase right now. Like, what kind of daughter says that to her father? But
they've always been truthful, though.
I guess so, but she's always been kind of angry with him and the lifestyle he's picked. And now she wants to live the same kind of life. It seems out of the blue.
I mean, she's so calmly inappropriate about it. Like, it's just the way that she says it, and she delivers the lines. She's just so dry.
It's matter of fact.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
I mean, as much as it makes Hank uncomfortable, she's never been one to shy away from telling him the sexual things. Like, even how many seasons ago was it where they went on the walk and she literally just told him, like, I did it, like I lost my virginity. And it wasn't one, and I think that has to do with Hank's reaction at that time, where it wasn't like freaking out or anything. It was like, okay, well, this happened. He took a very realistic stance. So when she does this, yeah, he's the dad, but he's not criticizing her for it. So when she says this is a no judging zone, it's like, he's one of the few people who wouldn't judge her for that. That's why she can't go talk to Karen.
She's safe talking to him because he's done it already, and he can't tell her not to do something that he's done. So she knows that they walk that fine line of father-daughter in this situation. So she's going to go to him because he can't really say anything.
Absolutely. I mean, other than ew, he can think to himself like, oh, that's kind of gross, but he's never going to reprimand her.
And
no, because he's done it.
He's never going to chase her away from, he's not going to judge her or anything, because this is something, she's coming to him for the first time in how long? Like, this is something that he can actually connect with his daughter with, as opposed to, she's been so far, she's been out of his reach for a while. Like, even her band gigs, or her writing thing, she found out through Batesy at a fist. I mean, it's one of those things, like, he's not going to turn it down because he still wants a relationship with his daughter, whether how Hank Moody she's becoming or not.
I agree, and I love the fact that his best advice is just don't do hard drugs.
Yeah.
And, you know, to counter your point, Roxy, about, you know, what she's seen kind of what this lifestyle would do to her, I think now it's, okay, enough of this. Every time I've tried to go against it, it's just brought me pain. Instead, I'm just going to embrace this lifestyle it seems like it's working for my dad.
But you know what? You've brought this point up a few times in different shows before, but it's like this mentality that she has. If I'm going to be an artist, I have to be depressed and angry and struggling, and I'm going to sit here in the dark room and go and have all these experiences. It's like people don't realize you can be happy and an artist as well, but nobody thinks to take that path. So she's trying to follow her father.
It's not
She's
romantic.
always been that way.
Yes.
She's always been kind of the dark, gothic little girl,
Absolutely.
you know. But
Of
she's
course.
more successful than her father because she's already got 3 pages written and she's writing every day and she's putting 100%. I mean, when's the last time Hank wrote that much?
But
Yeah.
who's seen this writing yet so far?
No one, right?
No one. So we
Okay.
don't know how good or bad it is. It's probably pretty good. It's probably going to be pretty good. I mean, she is Hank's daughter. But to counter your point with the whole dark and sadness thing, you don't have to go the route of dark sadness. But as an actor and when you're in like an artistic passion, especially for writing, especially for acting, it's all experiences.
No, absolutely.
So you need to you're either killing yourself by doing research on the topic so much that you hate it, or you're experiencing it firsthand and you can write from your experiences.
I agree, but what is this book about if she's saying that she's got what her experience, what she thinks it means to experience life, is sleeping with every guy she sees?
Well, I mean, looking at what was the main topic for the book that got her friend of close to her age famous for?
Fucking and punching?
Fucking and punching. I mean, it seems that that's what kind of is bringing success to people around her. I mean,
Right.
Hank has God Hates Us All. He has the Ashby book, which is all sex and rock and roll. And then we have Fucking and Punching, which obviously got famous for how provocative it is with the sexual parts of it. So she's kind of going the path of least resistance and doing a very sexual book.
Of course, and I don't blame her for that. She sees it everywhere. I just think that sometimes people have an idea of these things like, oh, I have to write a book, and there has to be sex in it, so I need to go have a lot of sex.
50 Shades of Grey.
I think it has a lot less to do with what she has seen as successful than it has to do with she's already been that dark kind of girl.
Right.
And she's never had anybody super close to her. And then she has this guy that comes into her life. She falls in love. She wants to marry him. He's the only person she's ever been with, and he turns out to be a complete fraud. So I think that the book is just an excuse for her to kind of act out and do all these things with other people
really
and
good
with
point.
drugs, because I feel like she doesn't have any other outlet to do it. And because of the way that she is and being the kind of darker girl, this makes sense to her. I feel like the book is just an excuse to kind of live out what she needs to get over the last situation.
I think it's
Absolutely.
kind of like an experiment in a way to me, is because I mean, we see, like, when you say she has the close people to her, every time we look back on the people that are close to her, it's sex that drives everybody into a panic and drives them apart. I mean, her best friend was the dean's daughter, Deansy, and then Hank uses sex and it tears everything apart. I mean, it's kind of an experiment to see what she can do with her life through sex and what will happen to her through this experience.
You know what? You guys bring up a lot of good points. I think,
Team.
I think, you know, as you guys more and more talk about it, I think the writing's going to be terrible. And
Really?
Well, here's the thing, because it's all based off of experience, you know, and these misperceptions, you know, of what life should be, what sex is, et cetera, et cetera. You know, she's trying to be like everybody else instead of being her own person.
And as much as she's around constant dysfunction and constant drugs and sex, she herself has lived a pretty sheltered life. If you look at the way she has lived her life, not the people around her. So I feel like maybe the writing won't be great, but this is just her excuse to kind of live out loud the way everyone else is.
Yeah. I 100% agree. Living out loud, Runkle.
Oh, yeah.
Louder than ever in tonight's episode. Roxy's shaking her head. Why are you shaking your head?
It's such a bummer because I used to love this character so much, and I still do, but I think that the actor is such an asshole that it's hard to watch and not associate the two. So, you know, it is funny, but it's like, I don't know, at this point, talking about unrealistic, it's like, here's this guy who's just like, what kind of woman just goes and like sticks her butthole on somebody's penis?
It's rock and roll, baby. It's rock
By
and
the way,
roll.
I love
Rock
the
and
explanation.
roll.
I love the explanation. You got your dick is too small for my vagina,
Right, it's
but
true.
it's big enough for.
She
It's the
was
perfect-
just trying
Awesome.
to console him because he was sad because he realized that he was still in love with Marcy.
And he's a nervous flyer, and and oh my god, no, don't touch my penis. Oh, dude, oh my god. Like, don't you ever look at him and you're like, you're pathetic.
But he is.
No, he's supposed to be.
Pathetic. I love that he's pathetic.
I love that the conversation she has when she tells him that his dick is the perfect size for her asshole, and then she's like,
Bum. Just say bum.
Bum.
for her bum. And then she
That's good.
goes into, well, she starts to go into talking about her ex-husband or her dead husband, and that just sets her off. And she's
Tony?
like, oh no.
I just like the name Trudy. Do you guys know anybody named Trudy?
Old
No.
people.
Used to.
It's perfect.
Facts
it just
of
like
life.
fits her. Like Trudy and Tony.
Let's zone in on the Marcy love, because for me, it was really great that finally, after all these sexcapades for Runkle, this is the conclusion he comes to.
Finally. I mean, I feel like we've all known that he's still in love with Marcy, but it was like life or death experience that made him say it out loud. And I think even when he said it out loud, he didn't want to believe it.
Right.
Which was kind of awkward.
I actually liked how long it took him to come to this conclusion, because a lot of times, you know, TV shows, they just want to move it quicker and they want them to be back together, but they really made us wait and made us think, maybe this isn't where we're going. Maybe they are going to end up separate. And Trudy, like he said, reminded me so much of Marcy in this,
Right.
that it was interesting, and I didn't know whether they were going to try to like put them in a relationship, but I'm glad he came to this realization that, you know, he's still in love and he has all of these feelings that he's repressed.
You know, he loves Marcy's crazy ass, but honestly, Trudy's a little bit too freaking crazy for even Runkle, I'd say.
Right.
After seeing her spill the ashes and then start snorting the ashes.
But it's
That
not
was
even that.
not okay. That was not okay.
Not on any level.
On any level. Oh, like, I've watched this twice now. The first time I watched it, I thought that she just, like, because I missed it for a second, I thought she knocked over a thing of Coke and was blowing it off the floor.
She
and now I
snorted
see
her husband.
She snorts her husband.
Yeah.
Like, when you die, like, you could not pay me $1 million.
No.
Well, can you get married and we'll kill your husband, make his ashes, and then pay you $1 million to snort his ashes?
No, you could not pay me $1 million.
no.
Maybe two. Maybe.
Two.
Minimum.
Well, if we have any producers, like anyone watching this show, let's make this happen.
Let's retract it back a little bit.
And rein it in.
Well, for me, it's less about that Trudy's so sex crazy. It's about the fact that with Marcy, there's a history there.
Right.
You know, with Trudy, there is none, and he's, you know, every relationship that he has been at a cursory level. You know, whereas with, I mean, as he said, you know, we have a son together, for Christ's sake.
Right.
So,
But
again,
is that enough of a reason to be with somebody?
I don't think it's
No.
just that. Again, I think there's the whole history, and he knows her in and out. I mean, he knows what makes her happy.
And he does love her. And any of the other relationships that we've seen, they haven't been the same, where Marcy's totally brutally honest with him. She doesn't lie to him. She was honest with him. She was cutthroat with him. And yes, she was hard at him. And yes, she's a bitch. But at the end of the day, the honesty between the two of them is what he lacked with every other woman. And so he'll always love and go back to her.
Speaking of Marcy, we didn't see any of her or Stu this episode.
We did not.
We did not.
Well, last we saw of Stu was him with the penis clamp, right?
Yes.
Yes,
So
we
he's
did.
still sitting on his couch as far as we know.
Yeah, not moving.
What was the name of the musician that they brought in that Marcy had sex with all the time?
You talking about season 3?
Yeah, like a while back.
Yeah, it was.
I don't even remember. I watch so much TV. If it's not like this season,
I remember the name. It's. She likes rock stars.
Yeah,
will say
I
that.
can't remember his name right now, but I have a feeling next season we'll be seeing him coming back if Runkle keeps this role as a rock and roll manager.
oh,
I think
interesting.
I think they're going to throw them
That
together.
would
again.
be really slowing down the Marcy storyline. I mean,
No, I'm not talking about this season. I'm talking about next season.
I know that's all the more reason why it's going to be slower.
Slower.
But I mean, for what I like about him realizing that he loves her is he also realized how bad he messed up. Because I mean, he was the one who was he had, you know, the porn star. That's when he got Rick
Springfield.
There you go.
There we
Martin
go.
from the booth gave me the name. Rick Springfield. Thank you.
Like, what's wrong with me?
Jesse's girl,
The
right?
drugs.
Yes.
Yeah, it's Jesse's girl.
Wanna sing for us?
girl.
Yeah.
Come on.
But that's Runkle in a nutshell. I mean, him.
I mean,
funny
but
stuff,
Runkle, like, when I'm talking about being pathetic, you know, him at the end, and he's like, we're taking the train back to L.A., and Hank's like, no. He's like, why don't you ever indulge
I
me?
love that though. You never indulge me, and I'm just like, How many times has Hank indulged your uncle? Come on.
He's consistently pathetic, though, which is why I love him.
It's true. He does an amazing job on the show.
Oh, yeah.
He's just such a dickwad. Like, I can't. And wait, we can play the views of AfterBuzz and not express that, that thing.
Let's avoid shit talking Evan Handler at the moment, because we have a time constraint.
Are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you.
Because I'd still fist bump his bald ass. Whatever. All right. That came out totally wrong. That came out so wrong.
Let's just leave it on both
And
notes.
next.
All right, let's enter the
We're
erotic
reining a
chapel.
lot in tonight, Roxy.
Go ahead and just mute them for a moment, Martin. All right, as you want to hear a bad transition, as Krisily and I enter the erotic chapel.
Which would go about as well as it did tonight, I would say.
It would. It would. By the way, I love that.
Wait, at the end or midway through?
Yeah, what are you talking with which two people? Are you Faith or are you?
No, the erotic chapel did not go well for,
At the end.
the giver of the erotic
Is
chapel.
he Hank or is he Atticus? Because it depends.
Because, I mean, it could go either way at this point.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm with you.
I think we're
It
talking
could.
about Atticus, right?
Yes, we're talking about Atticus.
oh, I'm sorry, Phil.
That's as well as it's going to go for me.
Shit out of luck.
By the way, I love the deal points. He has this. First off, it just tells you he has this system. Which is great. In exchange for sexual pleasure and transference of inspiration, you will receive these things.
Yeah.
Narcotics.
Very contract.
Pharmaceutical grade narcotics, a trinket,
German car.
and 5.9 inches of pure rock star sexual tip.
From
taint to tip.
Tank to tip.
Yeah.
Which just speaks to the fact, again, art does not work like this. There is no deal for art. Earlier we find out how much he's getting paid. No, well, not exactly the figure, but a lump of sum that you'll never see in your guys' lifetime as well as mine. But art does not work like that. And that you want to talk about being a real man, the difference between Atticus and Hank, it's the fact that he looks at art as that.
But he said it perfectly at the beginning. He said, being rich and famous for so long now, I don't know what it's like to be a real human being.
I wrote
That's
that down,
such
too.
a true statement. And on so many levels, in real life, with so many of these rock stars and actresses and celebrities, that's what happens. So for him, offering that contract of things for sex, to be amused, to have music written, makes sense to him because that's how it works to him.
How do you write to appeal to the masses when you are not one of the masses? You know,
Right.
you can't figure out what the interest is, and I think you have to go back to basic human emotion, which is what he finds finally when he can write that song about love and about whatever it is. But it's hard. If you're preparing for a role and you've never gone to high school and you're supposed to be a high school student, what do you do?
Right.
It's tough.
You go all 21 Jump Street and you go to high school for a while. I don't know.
Or you just go to Air Force 69.
There you
Join
go.
Atticus.
This might be getting a little bit into Hank, but it does coincide with Atticus. What did you guys think of how ironic that situation was while Hank is calling Atticus? Yeah, I literally.
You thought it was very ironic. All big letters. Irony.
So we have Hank, who is always being lectured as the man-child of this show. And then now we have Atticus, and Hank's being the adult for once, lecturing Atticus about how he's a man-child, how he's not supposed to be cheating on his wife, how it's his wife has needs too, and you shouldn't be doing that. Like, it just seems so ironic that for the first 4 seasons, Hank was the one who had needs, and he was the one who was defending.
He still is, though.
Well, yeah, but he was the one defending his ejaculatory needs with other women. Like, I find all the women beautiful. I mean, it's just how could I turn down a beautiful woman? It's like.
I totally get what you're saying, but here's the deal. Hank has always known right from wrong and picked wrong. And also, he's a victim of circumstance a lot of the times. So he's never tried to justify what he's done to Karen, really. He just says, you're right, I'm sorry, I did this. Like, he owns up to it. So I think he's saying this to him. I don't think he's saying, it's a little hypocritical for sure, but I don't think he's saying, look at me, this is what I've done, you should take my path. He's saying, isn't that kind of wrong? Knowing that he's done it as well.
It's not even that. Whoa, sorry. I don't
And
know what
there she
happened
is.
there. And there I am. It's not even that Hank is being like the bigger man or the dad about it, because Hank, situations happen to Hank differently. Like, he has this swag and this thing about him that women come to him. Atticus stomps his feet and acts like a 5-year-old.
Yeah, but
like,
Atticus has the money, so women do come to him.
But there's a huge difference between a guy that sits at a bar and has some whiskey and smooth talks a girl to a guy that's stamping his feet and saying you have to have sex with me because I have to play music. Like, there's a really big difference. Like, he's just, Atticus is just very, and the actor that plays Atticus is amazing. Like, I love the character. I love he's like a little kid that you just want to put him in timeout constantly. So I think there's a very big difference between the two of them, but I don't think that it's Hank being, well, he's not. I don't think there's an irony in it. I think that it's a circumstantial thing.
No, it's not. No, it is ironic. Like, it's not. I'm not saying it's hypocritical. I'm saying it's ironic that Hank would be put in that situation to be talking to him. I'm not saying that Hank is talking down to him. I'm just saying that it's really ironic that we see somebody who does all these things talking to somebody else about not doing all these things. That's just where it is.
Well, for me, what's interesting about it is we're kind of coming into a completion in Hank's journey, because now with Faith in the picture, that's a young Karen.
I wrote that down. Like, she reminds me of Karen in so many ways. It blows my mind. Like, of course they're gonna end up together. I mean, how long it lasts. But
Faith and Hank.
She's just like Karen. She's a young little Karen.
So who's hotter, Faith or Karen?
Well, Faith, because she's younger.
Oh.
And not in that, but in the story sense, she has to. She's representative of the younger beauty, the inspiration.
I think Roxy.
I think that Karen is like the most gorgeous,
beautiful,
incredible character of all time. I think she's perfect.
What did that say?
But
I agree.
But I love the actress who plays Faith as well.
Maggie.
So I think she's amazing. And like, if you're a Lost fan like me, you just want to watch her all day. I think that they're both beautiful in their own ways, and just because somebody is younger doesn't make them better or faster or prettier or jackass is right.
I will defend myself.
Get him, girl.
And you guys can hit me after. Hopefully not. Okay. The only reason why Karen has.
Let's see you try.
Can we just?
I can't wait. I just get the shovel.
We need like a soundtrack to this.
If Stephen would stop talking. All right. Give me a soundtrack. Give me Hank's theme.
How about Benny Hill? I think we need Benny Hill for this.
Well, he's getting the soundtrack. I just have to say, it's so nice to see Maggie. Really?
That's Hank's soundtrack.
Okay, go for it.
All right. Well, here's the thing. Again, I'm not saying she's more beautiful. I'm saying in the storytelling sense. Here's Karen. There's nothing left to her in the sense of she can inspire Hank. Whereas this girl, new adventures. Again, it's something
new. She's used up all her juices, is what he means.
Oh,
That's
so
what
she's
I mean.
not only ugly, but she's old and used up.
Motherfucker!
Okay, guess what? Who played Hank in the movie? Eddie Nero, right? A younger version of Hank. So
because Hank is not an actor.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay,
You're not
take these words literally as they, right? Faith is the new Karen. Why? And there you go. She's
just
the
like
new
Mackenzie's new
Karen.
Roxy.
Okay, but the question wasn't who is the new Karen.
No, it was who's hotter.
Who's hotter?
Okay, by definition, Hank. I will tell you this: in Hank's mind, by definition, Faith is hotter.
Do we have like the wah wah?
I don't think that's true. Are you kidding me? I think
Okay, why don't you think that's true?
You think in Hank's mind that Faith is hotter than Karen? I think that in Hank's mind, nobody will ever be hotter than Karen.
No one will touch Karen ever.
No one touches her. And we even find that out tonight when he goes, the plane's crashing down, and he's got this hottie Faith sitting next to him, and he goes to grab his phone, and Faith turns to him, and even Faith knows that Hank thinks this. She goes, it's okay. And Hank's like, what's okay? And she's like, she knows you love her. Like, she knows you love her.
She knows you love her. And guess what? She's not reciprocating that love. And with that.
Yeah, oh my God, she loves him more than anything. Just because you love somebody, though, doesn't mean you can be with them right then.
Right.
That is what is messed up with women!
No.
You're what's messed up with men because we're going to get old and you're going to leave us.
That's right.
Good.
The new and improved model.
Good.
No.
Clearly, we're already.
Faith knows her place with Hank, and I kind of appreciate that because a lot
What
of
is her
the
place?
girls-
How does she know her? What is the
Let
place?
me finish talking, and
I
I'll
will.
tell you.
Sorry.
Cut me off.
Get
You're
it,
taking
girl.
lessons from Stephen. She knows her place, and a lot of the other women that have come into Hank's life don't know their place, and they want to replace Karen. Faith knows that she's never going to replace Karen, but if Faith can be a part of his life to help him write more and do more, she knows that's her only place because his love and his heart will always belong to Karen.
For example, Faith is never going to burn down Hank's apartment.
No.
Or drug him and try to rape him and kill him.
Right.
She knows what she's good for.
Right.
Well,
She's-
then on
she
to the
said
next.
it. I'm a muse, and I will help you.
Also, we see Trudy and Faith still can kind of cover up their bonds because Faith didn't wreck that marriage, and even Miss Atticus, while she's trying to rape Hank, is pretty much like, no, Karen speaks the world of you. So we still know that love.
Weird. That was a weird moment. Like,
was weird. It was
and then he's like,
awkward.
"Oh, what's she saying?" And she's like, "Enough about Karen."
Yeah.
Enough about
Weird.
Karen. Let me put my hand up. Let me put your hand up my skirt.
I do love seeing Maggie in this role, though, because I'm so sick of seeing her play the 16-year-old girl that's kidnapped from the world and taken and other things. Like, she always
And a
plays this
victim,
very
yeah.
young victim, and in this one, she's just kind of come into a woman, and I like that.
She's
I
like a
haven't seen her
bitchy
in
young
anything
victim,
else.
and in this, she's like, "Here I am. I know what I am, and I'm ready to rock it." I
Yeah.
completely agree.
Showing that she's just a good actress all around.
She really is.
Just wanted to throw that in.
She's a great music.
We know you agree. We know you love her.
Okay.
And now she'll never come in to talk to us because she'll be afraid of you.
Why will she be? She will not be afraid of me.
No, it's Karen that's not going in.
Karen's
So,
down.
do you guys think there's going to be more drama with this Cruller guy?
Is it Crawler?
Cruller, like the donut.
What?
I thought it was Crawler.
What donut is Crawler?
Okay, let's
a
just call him.
crawler.
Let's call him a road manager.
Yeah, the road manager.
Atticus Fetch's road manager.
He's
is,
just creepy.
Yes, he is.
But then he's like hooking up with the two flight attendants at the end.
Who were
and
hooking up with each other,
the
too.
whole time.
Yeah.
By the way, let's
just-
talk about this very almost famous inspired episode tonight.
Yes.
And I love how, by the way, a lot of these episodes in season 6 written by Tom Capinos directly. And so I love his whole thing, just kind of calling to it of like Cameron Crowe was brilliant and all these different things, and
Yeah.
and just having a fun moment with Almost Famous.
That plane crash was one thing after another. Like,
Yeah,
I loved
they're
it.
fucking, they're fighting, they're kissing, they're piano. It
she's
was
snorting
great.
ashes. Like,
Yeah, it was-
everything went
They did a great job filming
all
that. I
out
agree.
on that.
Yeah, no, it was good. I loved when he started playing the piano and both of them just looked at him like, really?
Really,
Yeah.
like Tiny
This is
Dancer.
your song choice? Really?
Hey,
It was
Elton
brilliant.
John is really good, mate. I don't even know what I was doing there.
Thank you.
Oh, good. Good one.
It all starts with Hank giving him a titty twister.
Oh, that was great, too. Oh, my God, that bitch slap was like, ah!
Yeah.
What?
But that's what I mean. He's like a 5-year-old.
It was
He's
so
like a
funny,
little
though.
kid that I just...
That actor
But again,
is great, though.
the fact that
True.
Hank titty twisted him does not show much reciprocation. It
But
doesn't
you
show
have to
much of a.
handle who you're dealing with. It's like if he was dealing with a big guy, he probably would have punched him in the face. But it's Atticus. Like, what can you do?
Well, I love that. I love the facial expressions Atticus can pull because as soon as it's like he's so angry, and as soon as he slaps him, it's like a kid who just hit their parent. It's literally like that. It's like,
Okay, but you don't titty twist your kid.
you don't?
But speaking of, I don't know if some people might, but speaking of Atticus, I think it's just important to mention the fact that he drugged his wife.
was
Because
just gonna
we
say
haven't
that.
said anything
Yeah,
about it
he
yet.
did.
Like, and that she says, "Did you drug me?"
Again.
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 You're saying that like there's something wrong with that.
He drugged his
I mean,
wife to have sex with
in
someone
his
else.
defense, as he says, she loves drugs.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So it's fine.
So what are you saying? That we're steering for trouble, or what are your thoughts on that?
I don't know. I like that at the end of this he breaks through the song, and I couldn't really tell what it sounded like because he's like,
Yeah.
It's
but-
not formulated
right,
yet,
of course.
100%.
But it sounded like he was. I liked the process, and he's a great character. I would love to see him stay on, definitely to the end of the season, maybe even to next. And I'm into it, but yeah, I think we're definitely headed for trouble.
747.
On that note, let's head into predictions.
Okay, so
And now, you're after
I'm thinking here something big with Becca because the last thing we hear her say is, "Do you mind if I have people over your place, like a little drinking gathering?" What happened there? Did she trash the place, or is she okay, or is somebody not okay? We're gonna find something.
They're going to come back and it's going to be orgy style like Hank's parties.
Oh yeah.
She's not allowed to do blowjobs.
Yeah, no,
But she can do everything else. Just
no
not
smelling,
blowjobs.
no tasting.
Yeah.
I think going back to Runkle, I still think Runkle and Marcy are going to get back together. I think Marcy's going to lose the key to the
I
cock
said
cage.
that 2 weeks ago, and you guys didn't agree with me.
Marcy's gonna lose the key to what?
I wasn't here to. Wait, was I?
The last time we shot,
cock
I said that
cage.
Marcy and
I must have
Uncle
not
were
been
gonna
a
get
part of
back
that show.
together, and you guys said that you liked Stu better.
We said we like Stu better, but
Yeah.
we're still going to get back together probably.
Wait, there's a key to the cock cage,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
she's gonna lose it.
That's what I think.
And then what does one do?
That
Saw it
creepy
off?
lady will get it off.
She's weird as fuck.
Ophelia, or as I like to refer to her as that bitch.
Okay, well, by the way, she's a direct obstacle towards both men.
Yeah.
So it's not
Towards
just
all
that.
men.
Yes. So that'll be interesting.
I'd like
She is
to.
the cock block of the world.
I'd like to see Atticus
Creepy.
not die because I don't really like seeing all the musicians they bring in die. So hopefully he stays alive throughout the season, even through the
But
finale.
what would the reason for him to die be?
I don't know.
See,
I
there's
mean,
no
they killed Ashby, but
but there was a reason.
there was.
Oh, Ashby was amazing.
But there's still 6 episodes to make a reason. So I don't know. I'm just
If
listing
I'm not
my
saying
hopes.
that.
All right. Yeah.
yeah, and they just killed the other person in their band, so I don't think they're gonna kill
Yeah,
him
no,
either.
I don't think so either.
And so what else are we gonna see? Anything? Are we gonna see Trudy ever again, or are Runkle and Trudy done and Trudy's hit it and quit it?
We might see Trudy. What I'm looking forward to is have Faith and Karen officially met.
I don't think
No.
so.
Nope.
That'll be fun.
Yeah,
That's
because
gotta
I feel like she'll see a bit of herself in her, and I feel like that'll make her kind of stand up a little taller.
You know, I don't know how they could how they could make this happen, but if Faith and Trudy and Karen and Marcy got dinner, that would be the best episode of all time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let
It's
you
like their
finish, but no,
mini-me's.
I'm just kidding. Do you think Hank's gonna fall in love?
What?
Do you think Hank's gonna fall in love?
Do you think Hank's gonna fall in love with Faith?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
No. No, I think he's in
Lost.
love with Karen.
It's a muse.
You can love more
And
than one
if
person.
this show, like how Chuck and Blair had to end up together in Gossip Girl for me, if they do not end up
She
together,
did not just bring up.
Here's the only way it would work. Here-
Californication.
Cher.
I love it.
Really, we're gonna bring up
it.
Cher?
I cannot help it. But if they do not end up together, Hank and
have to.
Karen, then this entire show was not worth it.
It was a waste.
No.
I agree.
But you have to. The only way it would work is if the torch is passed on from Karen to Faith.
That would never happen
Threesome. There you go. Done.
Not
All
gonna happen
right.
either.
Well,
because I said so.
where can fans
Oh,
agree or
shit.
disagree with your thoughts, Roxy?
At Roxy Striar.
And where can they find you, Stephen?
At Stephen Lemieux, or you can go facebook.com/SRLemieuxphoto.
And what about you, Krisily?
At Krisily.
And find her here on The Bachelor. Yeah, it's so simple. Instagram, Twitter, all that fun stuff. And by the way, rate and comment. We've got now a full panel. What's up?
And not just on The Bachelor, but we're doing AfterBuzz at the movies, and I want more people to start watching our AfterBuzz at the movies. We're bringing the movies back. Sorry.
I'm down with that.
Hank would say the movies rot people's brains.
Yes.
Just kidding. No, check out all the other AfterBuzz TV shows, but most importantly, rate and comment on this one. Give us 5 stars, and then tell us why you hate us. On that lovely note, we'll see you here next week.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz, see you later.
Motherfucker.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.